All right, the EIDL grant application update. You've applied for the EIDL and you're wondering what is the status update on the EIDL application. This video is going to explain it to you. We've given you a lot of videos about EIDL, how to apply, and what happens next. But this video is going to give you an update on the EIDL grant application process. It's assuming, to start, that you've already applied. The reason why is the following. If you have not already applied for an EIDL grant, sorry, the window is closed. They are not accepting new applications. All right, so first off, two questions. When are you going to get your money, and how much money are you going to get? These are questions that LALATE has been pooling from a series of readers and also talking to SBA directly, and we have the information for you. First, when are you going to get the money? If you applied in early April, expect your EIDL grant application to be approved and your funding to be sent in mid to late April. That has been the consensus of readers and SBA on both guidance and in direct communications with LALATE. So basically, if you applied in early April, you should expect your funding in late April. However, if you applied for an EIDL grant, the latest application update is that if your application was filed in mid-April, you should expect your application to be approved and funded somewhere in May. Early May, mid-May. That's current guidance. Now, that can be backed up. So, if you are concerned that EIDL is not accepting new applications, don't be worried. The window is closed for new applications, but current applications that are in queue are still being worked out. Third, this is a question that comes up a lot from readers. They say, I applied once, I applied again, I applied a third time. No. You apply one time. You do not apply to EIDL for grants more than a single time. The fact that they're not responding to you is not guidance for you to keep on applying. You apply one time, you get a confirmation number, that number you save. And based upon current guidance, you should be receiving your payments in mid to late April or early May. Now, here's the bad news, and we don't mince our words. We tell you when there is bad news. If you applied for an EIDL grant in March, you may get rejected. SBA, which monitors and processes the EIDL grant applications, has given guidance to a lot of readers that those that applied in March were rejected because basically the application process was changed on April 1st and were asked to reapply. In many cases, people who applied in March did not know they were supposed to reapply in April because the form had changed. For those people, they're in trouble. They're basically out. They have no alternative. So if you applied in March and you have not heard back from the SBA, your application is likely denied and you can't reapply. The window is closed. All right, how much EIDL grant money should you get? The current application guidelines are that when you applied, you are going to get $10,000 because you click that final button on the final page. As we have indicated to you before, and we do not mince our words, there are three things that this entire process has been untruthful to you. The first big one is the $10,000. On the last page, it says, do you want to receive $10,000? And you may have clicked it, yes. The answer is that you are likely not receiving it. Who is getting $10,000? The people who are getting $10,000 are, in most cases, companies or individuals who fill out the application that indicated more than 10 employees work at that business. Those readers who clicked $10,000 but indicated less than 10 employees work there are getting $1,000 checks. And you may say, hey, that's just not fair. I asked for $10,000. Well, that's what's happening. In fact, We had warned this to you several weeks ago. It came up in the form of a tweet, of all places, on Twitter. There was a regional division of SBA that had tweeted that $10,000 is for businesses over 10 employees and not for businesses under 10 employees. You're getting a $1,000 check. It was so poorly received, that tweet, that branch of the SBA deleted it. But many people had already saved it and reshared it. Basically, that's what's happening. So the bad news, and we share the good news and we share the bad news with you here, is that if you have less than 10 employees, you indicate you have less than 10 employees, but you ask for $10,000, you are likely getting $1,000. What is the process thereafter? And this has been a question a lot of people have asked. And if you have any other questions, always drop them in the comments below. We respond very quickly. The question they've asked is, when do you know something is happening? Well, if you, generally what's going on is SBA sending out an email and it says, you've been approved, funding within 3 days. That's generally what's happening. Everyone's getting an email when they're approved and that says funding within 3 days. And in most cases, the funding's coming quicker than 3 days. Of course, the funding, as you know, is going into the direct deposit account of the account that you provided during the application window, application process. Now, what else could happen? And this is that wonderful self-authenticating phrase that we have talked to you about in previous EIDL grant videos. As you know, in the application process, it asked for you to provide information and said it's self-authenticating. As what is self-authenticating? It means that SBA is assuming the information you're providing is authentic and it is not going to question it. In some cases, SBA is questioning the information. It is not self-authenticating. They are asking for additional information from applicants. That's in some cases. But in most cases, it is self-authenticating, meaning that if the EIN you provide matches your company's start date, matches your incorporation date, that's enough self-authenticating for them. Granted, the EIDL application process is not like the PPP. They're not asking for 5,000 pieces of paper. They're just asking you to provide that information, which you provided, and then you're going to get your check. Finally, what is the difference between PPP and EIDL? We're going to address that in another video, but basically right here and at this point, I'm going to say to you the following. You should embrace EIDL and stay far, far, far away from PPP. EIDL is a grant. It is a sum of money that comes directly to you. EIDL is a grant that comes to you. You do not repay. PPP is a loan that may be forgiven but may not. The way you get updated about the two processes are different. EIDL is ministered by the SBA. And the best way, and we've said this before, the best way to know what is the update on your EIDL application is the following. And pay attention. Call SBA. Not once, not twice, but as many times as you are able to. And why? Because of every agency in this entire process of the CARES Act, whether it's Treasury, state unemployment, private lenders, SBA is the most responsive of the agencies. They pick up the phone, they answer. It's the middle of the day, there's very little hold time. And we have a trick for you. Here's the trick, and we're leaving the good stuff at last. If your application was filed for EIDL grant more than 4 weeks ago, look up your dates and check if it's been more than 4 weeks. Do with this, what I'm going to tell you right now. When you call SBA and you get the first person on the phone, say, I'd like to be transferred to a supervisor because it's been more than 4 weeks since I applied. It works. There actually is a division or a section of the SBA call center that handles application queries by phone that are more than 4 weeks old. Now, they're not going to work on your application. They're not going to do anything on it over the phone. But the fact that an application is more than 4 weeks old and has not been funded is an issue of alert for them for a caller. And they will provide you more information than a normal staffer in the call center will provide. As we've indicated before, call as many times as you can because SBA, depending on who you get on the phone, will give you different information on different days. Needless to say, let's recap and remember the following things. First, if you apply for your SBA grant, The latest application update is that if your application was filed in early April, expect your funding to come in late April. If you applied in mid-April for an EIDL grant, the latest application update is that you'll be funded in somewhere around early May, middle May. Next, you'll know that you've been approved because you'll get an email come from SBA saying, hey, you've been approved and expect a check shortly, within 3 business days, and in most cases, or direct deposit. In most cases, the direct deposit comes within 3 days. Lastly, call SBA. They can provide you guidance at any time, and especially if it's over 4 weeks old. Finally, if you have any questions about this or anything else, whether it's PPP, PUA, which I hope you applied for, SBA loan, SBA proposed stimulus check, past stimulus check, leave comments below. We are very good on getting back to you on any questions you have, and we learn from your comments as well, and we may incorporate them in an upcoming video. Stay with LALATE for more.